The Pekka BoBat is one of the best strategies in Clash of Clans, especially for the clan war leagues. It is incredibly popular and for good reason. In this video we will be breaking it down to tell you exactly what you need to know on how to use the strategy, and then towards the end of the video I will be attacking in multiplayer to try and replicate the success of these first few attacks. So let's break it down so that you know exactly how to use it. Now, one of the key things you're looking at is the position of the town hall. This is a brilliant, safe 2-star and potentially 3-star strategy. So for a wide amount of Clash of Clans players, this is going to be one of your go-to strategies for the clan war leagues. You really shouldn't not be getting the 2 stars with this. There is one caveat for this, and it is that it's a little bit easier to get the 3 stars if you utilize your wall wrecker. However, you do not want to miss the town hall with your initial push. If you miss it with the Pekka and Bowler, the bat spell, they will not finish off the town hall. However, other strategies such as Queen Charge Lalo, Queen Charge Miners, you can change the second phase of the attack in order to get the town hall. So Michael of Red Elite has to plan out where he's going to come in from. You don't want to necessarily come straight into the town hall, although you could. It just means you're not getting maximum value out of your wall wrecker. You could potentially come into the town hall here, jump through into this central compartment, but you do have to somewhat control the Pekka and Bowler. And in this one, Michael recognizes that down to the bottom of the base, we have the Eagle Artillery, a Multi-Inferno, and 2 Wizard Towers. So this is the angle of choice. Gets a little bit unfortunate. In fact, probably good base building that he doesn't have all of the walls maxed. There are a lot of non-max walls spread out the base, but every wall, unless it's really low level, requires 2 hits from the wall wrecker, but a max level wall requires 3. So it will slow down your wall wrecker, something to take into consideration. So if we're entering from this side of the base, the funnel has to be set. Always think about an E-drag or a Queen Walk when planning the Pekka BoBat, because you can get really good value from it, and here is why. 1 test loon to this mortar will check, followed by the E-drag here, means that this entire section, yes, even the buildings on the inside of that wall will go down, and the E-drag on the elixir storage here will be out of range. Now, it's really important that you take down these buildings as well on the inside of the base, because otherwise bowlers can still attack them and they can still then walk around the base and you've lost them. So do consider these buildings on the inside. Funneling them is important. Let's get into the attack. We'll continue to pause and explain things as we go, but let's dive straight into it. So that coconut loon, you have to be doing things like that on a fresh hit, because if a black bomb came up there, that might mess Michael's entire funneling. Gets a little bit unfortunate not to get that mortar, but that's really not the issue. What he wants is these central buildings here. So whilst there is a Pekka helping out, the E-drag can chain through the elixir storage and watch them 3 buildings zap. There they go, completely down, and you can see now that as the Pekka and bowlers come into this area, there is no chance of them walking and potentially trying to hit these buildings. The queen can do that as well, as long as you walk the queen down this way and then into the base, but it is a bit trickier. Over to the left hand side here, we have a Pekka which is creating that funnel. Potentially, I would have liked to have seen the barbarian king in this area, just because the enemy king will take down a Pekka quite easily, and that's a big commitment of you to then lose out to the barbarian king, whereas the attacking king could have popped the ability, took out the barbarian king, even got that archer tower, and many times you won't want your king in the base itself. I will explain why that is, but just take a look at the funnel here and how the buildings on the inside are the only place for the troops to go. So whilst the wall wrecker comes in, the Pekka were deployed first in order to protect the wall wrecker. You do not want the wall wrecker not getting through the base, especially especially if you do not have a jump spell. If you don't need it, don't take the jump spell, maximize on bat spells. So the Pekka and Bowler straight into this area, and the Wall Wrecker gets up and to the Town Hall. Now, a nice combination to have in your clan castle is the Pekka Ice Golem combination, because even if your other troops start to walk a little bit, the Pekka and the Ice Golem can take out the Town Hall depending on what is there. So that rage spell is used up to that left hand side to make sure the King, Pekka and Bowler take the Town Hall. That is the main building. Yes, it gets you the 2 stars, but it will wipe out your bats. You cannot take the Town Hall with your bats, but because we had this nice little funnel straight into the base, we knew that everything was going to follow the Wall Wrecker. Just a case of getting that funnel right initially, and you can do that with Pekka. In fact, I am going to show you my army composition I like to do towards the end of the video, and you'll see exactly why. Wait until a lot of the base is down before the bats come in. So if we zoom in at this point, look, we've got this thin area of defenses where the bats will now just move straight through. What you don't want is a huge chunk of the base whereby the bats just start splitting up all over the place. Now, I do like that Michael came in from the bottom right here onto the multi-inferno. Yes, there's a Tesla farm which slows him down. However, majority of the troops went up to the top. So if we had placed the bats there, we then wouldn't have got the tankage of all of the Pekka. And a nice touch that you will see in the next attack that I show is that you can often use your troops up to that area in order to help with cleanup. Now, we've done very similar videos to this previously. I did a one of the drag bat, breaking down 2 attacks, me doing one at the end. I will link that at the end of this video if you missed it. But a key point as well is take some cleanup minions. When your bats take out the defenses, you have to be putting cleanup troops in so that you do not time fail. We've got a different style of Pekka BoBat attack, so let's dive to that now. This is the next base that we're going to break down, getting the 3 stars with the Pekka BoBat, and this army is a little bit more similar to what I like to use. Now guys, if you are new here to my channel, you enjoy this video and you want to see more educational Clash of Clans videos, be sure to subscribe and turn on the notification bell. So checking out this one, we have the Town Hall down to the south of the base. Where are we going to come in from? Now, I did mention utilizing that Wall Wrecker as best as possible. However, a really good play here is recognizing that actually the Town Hall is that close to the edge that this area here means it would be accessible via the Archer Queen. Now remember what we said in the last replay about using your Archer Queen to help with the funnel in itself, because she can reach the inside buildings, meaning that if you take these down, your troops are then more likely to come straight in. Obviously the E-Drag did that in the last attack, Queen does it in this one. Now I do like that we had one wizard here just to snipe off that storage, and if ever you have a large building, think about the tile radius. If you can take out a large building, especially if there's gaps in between them as well, that pretty much cuts off the funnel for you. Not to mention that in this attack there's also this chunk of the base, so there's no way the Queen is going to walk to the left. Again, one coconut loon has to be used in this style of format, one attack, in order to check for black bombs. You don't want to lose a healer 14 troop capacity when you can use one loon of 5. And I do like that the Queen was deployed first in order to just start the process off. Now the Queen steps into this area. You've got to be looking ahead of time as to how many defenses are going to hit your Queen. So we had multiple point defense here, 3 of them in fact, which were all going to be locked onto the Queen. If you've got 3 point defense on your Queen, you probably want to use a rage, not to mention that it's recognized the Town Hall is going to lock onto her in a second. So having that rage in ahead of time is better. You don't want the Queen to be lower on health when you put it in. So it means that the Grand Warden's ability here is completely saved, because the Queen takes down the Town Hall. The Giga Bomb means nothing. Pekka used onto this right hand side to help funnel here alongside the King, and we wait with the rest of them before putting them in, knowing that they will go straight into the center. So the Wall Wrecker can be good in order to tank even if you do not use it to break open walls. In this one though, we get that initial layer, and a jump spell provides access right into this entire bottom section. Now also note that Pekka are very quick at taking down walls, so when you get them all funneled onto one area, they will actually take down the walls quick. Do take that into consideration. You might not need a jump spell necessarily. So the queen comes in, is going to help to take down the dragons that were in that CC. Always could have used a poison there, although the queen got it down incredibly quick, just to slow the fire of the dragon onto the bowlers. Now when this initial area is down, the bottom bit here, that's when the bats come in. So again, the bottom section is down, we've got that town hall, the Pekka are charging through the base here. You've now got a thin area around the base where you've got the defenses where the bats can now come in. You don't want to put them in when there's still a lot of defenses. That's how you'll see a lot of times that on attacks like this, the troops will get right towards the end of the raid before the attacker puts the bats in, and it's because you can control their pathing and potentially use them to tank. The single inferno is definitely the building which is less likely to take down the bats and more likely to take down the Pekka. So definitely a good option to bring the bats in from this side, not to mention that the Pekka were breaking out of the other area. You mainly want to do them in kind of separate paths, because otherwise if you put the bats in, you're basically reducing the ability of the Pekka to take down the base. And whilst you might lose some of them, you've got to think about time. People do time fail with this attack, so you don't want to have, you know, 6 Pekka, 3 bowlers, queen's ability, all of that stuff left at the end of the base. Yes, you've taken it down, but you've still got a lot of clean-up buildings around the outside and you run out of time. You're far better off losing a couple of Pekka and actually getting through the base in time. That's where coming from the opposite side, if it makes sense, is beneficial. Now notice here that a freeze spell was not needed on the multi. We didn't have one anyway, we used it on the splash damage earlier on, but recognized that as the Pekka and bowler came through to this area, the bats would be fully protected, so the freeze is not needed. And if you are going to make a decision as to hold or use a freeze, all I would say is make sure that you do not have a splash damage building hitting the... Look at how quick they went down there. Incredible. If that was early on in the raid, this wouldn't have been a 3-star. So use the freeze spells earlier rather than later. One thing that wasn't in these attacks, and I will show you in my multiplayer attack coming up in a couple of minutes, is using an ice golem onto the back end here. Would have just been in range of this wizard tower if we locked it onto this corner of the not the multi-inferno, the mortar, that's the word I'm looking for. So you can use an ice golem to tank the wizard tower as the bats then come through. You don't always need to use a freeze spell. So that is the basic premise of the Pekka BoBat. It's very, very comfortable for the 2-star. We do have one bowler over here, but this is where, it's got to be said, improvements could have been made in terms of taking wizards onto that area. I didn't see within the attack here actually when it was used. It could have actually even been a clutch play in order to, let's say, distract a wizard tower or something like that. Obviously you have the timer, so you roughly know how much time you've got left. You know when you can take risks and when you can't, but do try and have enough wizards that you can clear up on the opposite side of the base so that your Pekka aren't walking all of the way around the outside. So this should be a safe 2-star strategy for you with a good chance of a 3, and unless you mess it up big style, you should get that 2-star. And ultimately in the Clan War Leagues, it's securing the 2 and planning for the 3. You don't want to miss out on that 2-star. We're going to continue educating here as I do my attack and see if we can replicate the success that we've had here in Red Elite. Oh, I really want to attack this base with the Pekka BoBat, but it really won't show us anything. Look at all of this free loot. Ah, it's so good. Do I just take it, guys? Come on, I can't not take this loot. Let's quickly take the loot using my heroes. Let's hope this guy isn't trolling us and has a bunch of traps down to the bottom. I'm actually going to leave them a couple of storages down there just because I don't want to take any damage on my heroes. But the only reason I'm recording this is that if you don't follow me on Instagram, be sure to. It's down in the description of this video, and a couple of days ago I got my best loot ever. Over 1 million gold, over 1 million elixir. I might even make a video on that potentially in the next couple of days, just kind of show it off because it's kind of cool. It's the most loot I have ever received. So be sure to follow me on Instagram for sneak peeks like that, and I will bring that in a video. Let's press their abilities just to finish off here, and then let's get into a base. So I was just talking about getting back to Legends and thinking about it, and I realized I just lost all of them trophies for no reason. So let's attack this base. 1 million gold, which is pretty epic, and I think I might make a farming video shortly. Let me know down in the comments your best loot ever, and let me know if you want to see some farming. So we have multi-infernos at either side here, so not ideal, but we might be able to get into the left-hand side here, take them down, and basically what I'm then thinking is that we can probably take 2 of them, freeze the 3rd one. That's the idea. So let's go with Pekka Wall Wrecker here to try and protect me through. Kind of want to take that Tesla down, but I think I'll just get it on the bounce as we go through. Once the Pekka have got through here, let's go with the Pekkas, bowlers, healers, queen, grand warden, king's ability. This is looking good, guys. So this entire left-hand side will go down. Again, you want to focus on the splash initially. Going to use the jump. Do I use it? I'm probably going to use it here. Give me myself access right the way through to this bottom area. Let's use a rage spell, and then let's think about where we should put the bats in. Once this multi goes down, I actually think let's use that ice golem to protect at the top. Queen going through the center, and we can use the Grand Warden's ability. Oh, I missed it. I missed that Grand Warden's ability. Okay, still not looking bad, guys. We're getting all of the splash. That wizard tower should go down. Come on. Ice Golem pops and takes it down, guys, which is good. Multi is distracted, but I am going to use that freeze because it will take my troops down incredibly quick. I'm going to use another one because the bats will go down quick to that, and I'm kind of hoping that the wizard towers on the bottom we can just distract with our other troops. So let's go with a minion here. That might have been too quick. It was. Let's go with an archer. Oh, no! It's turned to the bats anyways, guys, so we didn't get the wizard tower distracted, but that's where just making sure you get majority of the base down is going to be helpful. We should still get this one, guys. Pekka moving around the base. Queen finishes that one off, and it is going to be a 3-star comfortably with over 1 million loot. Epic. What is the most amount of loot you have received? I got 1 million gold, 1 million elixir just a couple of days ago. This one is equally as impressive, so I think I might make a farming episode in the coming days. Subscribe, get that notification bell turned on to see it. I'm actually going to screenshot this and share it with you on Instagram. Let me know when you see that if you have came from this video, but if you want to see the drag bat, when we broke that one down in a similar format, be sure to check this video out. It will help you out, guys. It's a brilliant strategy, but that wraps it up for this one. Until next time, peace out.